Oh my God, I can't believe that I'm going to finish this puzzle in this video. Like in the next few days, the 9,000 piece puzzle will be done. So one more time, just as a reminder, here is where we left off at the end of the previous video, and here is the final picture that we are trying to make. So as I said at the end of the last video, all that is left is the blue box. Remember that one from the sorting where like half the pieces ended up in it? Turns out this puzzle is like half varying shades of blue. But I actually already did the sorting of all of the blue pieces the other day, so roll that clip. All right, so here are all of those pieces. All of that sorting took about 2 hours, so really not bad at all. Also, I posted this photo on Instagram showing all of these pieces, and I realized that from a distance, you really can't see what the difference is between any of them, so let's take a closer look. All right, so obviously these two are just separated by color. This pile is the darker teal pieces. Down here we have the solid colored teal pieces, and I think a lot of those are her dress right here. These are all of the edges of these gray control panels. These pieces have this solid line running through them, and you can see that that is the top of the pipe right here. These are pieces with a circle design. These are the kind of faded mini minions in the background. You can see them right here. These are the kind of faded green pieces, and they actually are all gonna fill into this spot that's literally right here. These are light blue pieces that have some sort of gradient or extra decorative element. These are light blue pieces that have bits of the frames on them. These are pieces that have those wires and poles in between all of the frames. And then this big pile are pieces that have enough bits of things that I've already put together that I think I can just immediately put them in place to build off of sections that I've already done. And then finally, we have a box of just plain light colored blue pieces. There are quite a few pieces, so later on I will have to do another sort of just this box. But for now, I mostly just wanted to get all of the pieces with stuff on them separated out from all of the plain pieces. All right, so this box with all of the plain pieces, I'm just gonna put back here for now. We will deal with her later. For now, it is about 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. I'm gonna spend the next couple hours trying to get as many of these blue pieces in place as I can. I'm so excited to spend all weekend working on the puzzle again.
What is this nonsense? I showed up to your apartment.
So we just found a TikTok. I had to move this off the board, but as I was moving it off the board, I saw a piece and I know where it goes, so I'm gonna put it in.
Karen, this is an unhealthy obsession. I don't.
Come on, get it on camera.
Okay.
I was right. I was right.
Wow, and the crowd goes wild.
All right, it is a brand new day. It is Sunday morning, so episode 2 literally just went up, and now I'm already getting back to work on the puzzle. Today, I think I'm going to tackle all of these wires and poles in between all of the frames, as well as a few little sections that I already, pulled all of the pieces out for, so it should be simple enough to just get those in place. It is a beautiful sunny day here in LA, so I'm so excited to spend the whole day once again working on my puzzle. You guys, I had an innovation, I had a brainstorm, I am brilliant. So I've been having this issue with this puzzle where it's just so huge that it's really hard to get the entire thing in frame on my DSLR camera, which I use for the time lapses. So I feel like a lot of the time lapses, it's just really hard to see what's going on because the picture ends up so skewed from the angle of the camera. So I was trying to brainstorm a way to raise my camera up so it's not quite at so much of an angle. And then I remembered that I had this card table out in the garage. So I brought it in, put the tripod on top of the table, and now I should get a much nicer angle of the whole puzzle as I keep working on it. What I really need is probably like a GoPro to tape to the ceiling so I can just get the full top-down angle. I don't have a GoPro, but I think if I do another giant puzzle like this, I will invest in one. So it is about 11:30 now. I just took a quick lunch break, and now I'm gonna spend all afternoon finishing up all of the frames, all of the dark pieces, the last little bit of the miscellaneous pieces. The puzzle is really coming along. I think it's definitely getting easier the more and more pieces I put in because I'm just filling in sections. So I have a lot more information to work off of rather than building completely new sections. 3 hours of just straight puzzling, but it is really coming together. I'm starting to wonder if I might finish it tomorrow. No, I don't want to jinx it. It's probably gonna be 2 more days. There's only 1 more board of like dark teal pieces and then a handful more of miscellaneous pieces with little bits of things on them left. And then just these 2 boxes of pieces, and that's all that's left. I still haven't finished this guy's photo though, although I did finish the frame. So that'll probably be the first thing that I get back to tomorrow. All right, it is Monday around noon. I just spent all morning working on the puzzle again because what else do I do with my life when there is a puzzle to finish? I just finished what will hopefully be the last big sort of this puzzle. So here is that last box of blue pieces. So let me break down what we have because they all kind of look exactly the same. So these are the more like cool light blues, which will be the sky up here. These are pieces that again have little bits of something on them. These are the lines that are on the floor. These are the shadows that are on the floor. These are the dark floor pieces and then the light floor pieces. I actually think, you know what, I'm just gonna put them in. I think that all of these edge pieces are correct now. Oh no, they're not. Okay, never mind. That piece does not fit in there, so let me just pull that one out. Then up here we have these light colored plain solid pieces with literally nothing on them. These are the kind of greenish teal pieces which go up there kind of on the edge of where that yellow spot was. These are the pieces with all of the like grids on them. These are the light colored ones and then the dark colored ones. And then these are more like medium blue solid pieces that are probably either floor pieces or they go in that center column. I'm going to finish the 9,000 piece puzzle tomorrow. Today was honestly such a blur, but look, I have finished all, like both corners. All that is left is this center column and then the floor. So these are all of the pieces that are left. You can see that they fit on one piece of foam board. I can see all of the pieces all at once. And I'm not sure how much it'll come across in the time lapse, but you might have seen that I spent quite a long time up here, up in this section. And that's because I have two more pieces that have these dotted lines on them, and they don't fit in the last spot where I need dotted lines. So I think something up here might be wrong and I might have to rearrange a little. Or at the very end of the puzzle, maybe I'm missing a piece. Like, so far I've been able to just be like, well, if I can't find a piece, it was probably just sorted into a different section. Like, I'll just keep an eye out for it. And as you can see, you know, I have found all of the pieces, but now I can see every single piece that's left and I'm not seeing the pieces I need. So I'm starting to get a little worried, but that will be a tomorrow problem. For now, I'm gonna go lie on the couch because my back is really sore after working on this puzzle all day for 3 days straight now. All right, so I'm an hour into my final day on the puzzle and I'm already having some issues. So right here, you can see this is the line where the two halves of the puzzle were printed. And I didn't expect those pieces to fit together totally perfectly. That's just the nature of printing two halves of a puzzle separately. But the problem is that the cut repeats over the two halves, and since this is all basically the same color, I kept having to rearrange pieces from one side to the other to get them to all fit and lay relatively flat. So you can see here, this piece I'm still having a little trouble with. It doesn't seem to totally fit perfectly. The problem is that all of these color differences are just so slight and there's no like design there to really clue you in. I don't know, does that make any sense at all? This is driving me crazy and it's like, how much time do I really spend swapping very, very similar blue pieces versus just like moving on and saying that it's good enough? For now, I'm just going to let all of that go, move on to the rest of the puzzle. Hopefully down here there's enough of a gradient that I can use the color of the pieces to not have them all swapped around, but we'll see. Let's get back to it. All right, here we go. The last 4 pieces of the 9,000 piece puzzle. Piece number 4, piece number 3, Piece number 2. Nope, that way. Here we go, the very last piece. Oh my God, it's done. It's done. And I'm not missing any pieces. I have all of them. Oh man, I can't believe it's done. So who wants to know my final time? Are you ready? 67 hours and 20 minutes. Just as a reminder, this puzzle is 6.5 feet long by almost 5 feet tall. It is bigger than I am. So let's get into the data. Here is a chart showing how much time I spent on it every day. And you can see that there's really only one day where I did over 8 hours. All of the rest of the days were, capping at about 6 hours or so. And I only worked on it over 19 different days over the course of almost exactly 1 month. So here is the final time of day chart. You can see that I would usually get started around 9 a.m. and then finish up around 3, with a few outliers at night when I would do some extra sorting or organizing off camera. All right, so now this is where the data gets really fun. Let's compare my times to the 9,000 piece puzzle that I did when I was in college over 10 years ago. So that one I worked on over 74 different days. It took me almost an entire summer, and it took me 145 hours and 20 minutes. So over double the amount of time that this one took me now. And then just a quick side note about that puzzle. When I was first writing down the times, I just had them written in a notes document. And so just a few weeks ago, I plugged them into my sister's spreadsheets. Previously, I had calculated the final time manually, and when I put them in the spreadsheet, I realized that I did a little bit of the math wrong. So the 145 hours is the correct final time, no matter what I may have said in previous videos. All right, so now let's compare it to each section of the 24,000 piece puzzle. You can see that obviously 9,000 pieces takes much longer than 6,000 pieces. And of course, I want to say a big thank you to my sister Katie for making the spreadsheet and making all the charts for me. Thank you, Katie. All right, so my overall impressions on this puzzle. Overall, I loved it. It is so bright and colorful. That's what initially drew me into this image, and I was so right. It is so fun to do as a puzzle. But back to that center column, that is really the only quality issue that I had. You can see that even down at the bottom where we can use the design on the pieces to know that all of them are in the right spot, where the two halves line up, there's a little bit of space in between the pieces. They don't fit together perfectly. Now, I understand that there are always going to be some manufacturing issues when making a puzzle this huge. This is already a feat of engineering, so this is really just nitpicking here. And I know that you can't have a design running over the center because you have to leave a little bit of tolerance between the two halves, because the cardboard might be slightly shifted on one half and you don't want that to be really obvious running down the center. So instead, here's what I would have done. I would have made the gradient on the background a little bit more pronounced so that you could use the different colors to make sure that you had the pieces in the right spot on the puzzle. Okay, maybe I do have two more things that I wanted to say. Again, these are like very minor. The first one is the case with all Ravensburger puzzles, so I knew this going into it, but Ravensburger puzzles do not lock together. The pieces just crumble apart very easily, so you have to put a piece of paper underneath large sections if you want to move them around. And then I also just had a very minor issue with the edges, which is that some of them use this kind of squiggly connector, which does not lock together at all. So anytime I would like nudge the edge just a tiny bit, it would break apart until I got the interior pieces in place. All right, so I do have a few more things to say about this puzzle, but let's break up all of the talking and let's get it taped together. And if you want to know exactly what I'm doing here, you can watch this video for all of the details. All right, I'm about to finish taping all the sections, and I just wanted to answer a question I know I'm gonna get, which is why I split it down the middle as well as into all of these sections. And that's because each of these are 17 pieces wide, and it was going to be one puzzle piece column too long on this end. So instead of having an extra little bit on the side, I decided to keep it neat and clean and just also split it right down the middle. Oh man, I am so happy to have my dining room table back. I think that next time I do a big puzzle though, I'll need to experiment with using contact paper on the back rather than tape. I had that painter's tape left over from the 24,000 piece puzzle, so I wanted to use it up, but this took hours. I think I need a way to cover a little more area all at once. So speaking of taping the puzzle, I did read all of your comments on my previous video where I asked you if I should tape it or not, and honestly, I think it was about a 50-50 split. There were a lot of good points on both sides, but in the end, I decided that I did want to have a way to quickly put this puzzle back together. But here's the thing, the blue tape actually doesn't stick quite as well to the Ravensburger cardboard as it did to the Ejica cardboard. So while it's pretty permanent on the 24,000 piece puzzle, I really think that on this one, if I did want to do it again or give it away to someone who did, if you pulled it up, you would get like a little bit of cardboard pulled up, but I think it would still be doable. I don't think I ruined this puzzle forever. So speaking of the 24,000 piece puzzle, there were a couple differences between that one and this one. I actually think the time lapses worked better on the life puzzle because the image across the entire thing was basically broken in half between above water and underwater. So when I was doing the time lapses, it was a much smaller area that I was working on. Whereas on this one, I felt like I was working across the entire puzzle way more. So I think at times it was hard to really see what was going on and really see the progress. So if I do another 9,000 piece puzzle, as I talked about before, I will invest in some sort of GoPro or similar camera to mount on the ceiling so that I really get that beautiful top-down shot of the full puzzle. And I actually already know what my next giant puzzle is gonna be. It just got delivered the other day. It is here in this box, but I think I may keep this as a Patreon exclusive for now. So if you head on over to my Patreon, you can sign up for $3 a month, and then you'll get access to all of my bonus videos, including me unboxing this puzzle and sharing my exact plan for like what it is and how I'm gonna go about doing it. Ooh, I can't wait. Oh my God, it's gonna be so fun. Anyway, if you want more of me, but you don't want to sign up for Patreon, I wanted to let you know that I am now on TikTok. I am an official TikToker. That's obviously free. You can follow me over there at Karen Puzzles, same as everywhere else. And it's been really fun so far. It's a lot easier to answer questions over there, to show puzzles that are interesting but might not warrant an entire YouTube video. So yeah, I'm having a great time being a part of Puzzle Talk. And then finally, just one more thing. Some of you may have seen me in a video recently by Stand Up Maths, where he's investigating why some puzzles have a different number of pieces than the number it says on the box. And that's actually true for this puzzle as well. The actual number of pieces is 9,120. It measures 120 pieces across by 76 pieces down. And so if we take the math a step further, we can calculate that if we discount the initial sorting time and only look at the time spent doing the puzzle, I averaged one piece every 24 seconds. I should start calculating that for every puzzle that I do, because I don't really have a reference on if that's fast or not, but I think I did this puzzle pretty quickly. I'm proud of myself. Anyway, just a fun little bit of trivia to end on. Thank you so much for watching this series. I will be back very soon with even more puzzle videos, maybe some smaller puzzles that don't necessarily take 67 hours to complete. So I'd love to know down in the comments if you could have any image on a puzzle this size. What image would you want? Your code word for watching all the way to the end will be 9,000. Happy puzzling, and I will see you all in the next one. Maybe I'll go watch one of the Minions movies now.